I'm glad you're here. We've got a really great class for you tonight. Really great class. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I love being in this class and love being with you is that I'm dealing with real people. Real people. People who have taken their masks off, who have stopped trying to be something someone else wanted them to be, who stopped trying to live up to somebody else's ideas, who are coming back into their own. And this great statement, God is, and we are becoming. God is, and we are becoming. So as we're becoming, let's meditate. So if you'll put your feet flat on the floor, the bottom part of your back up against the back of your chair, and just breathe deeply, not a big painful breath, just a nice deep breath in through your nose, and then hold that breath until it feels comfortable to let it go. If you let it go and you feel a little bit of apprehension, you let it go too soon, or you didn't hold it long enough. Get the timing right so that when you go, let it go, your body just falls into relaxation. And then don't breathe back in until that feeling is right for you. And then as you breathe in and out, and in, and out, find that core within you, that place within you where you live. Feel that warm core. Be one with it. Be one with that light, with that warm light, that core within you. And then let it begin to expand. Let it begin to expand so that core grows. And you can feel it flooding the rest of your body. Down your legs, into your feet, to the tips of your toes. That presence. And into your shoulders and down your arms, into your hands and out to the tips of your fingers. That presence. Up your neck and into your head. That presence, that divine presence that blesses you, that nurtures you, and that is you. The presence of Holy Spirit. The presence of all that is sacred. From that lone, wind-whipped tree high on that rocky bluff under the stars, to the great blue whale in the southern seas coming up for breath, to a child being born right now in Nepal, high in the mountains. To someone you can think of right now that you dearly love. Sacred. All sacred. All divine. And this expansion that we've just felt in our bodies is the presence of us as spiritual beings. And we are not limited by our bodies, because we are not our bodies. We can now expand beyond there, out as far as you dare go, to fill the room or to fill the universe. You are so blessed. Every step of your life, even when it seemed the darkest, you were being surrounded and protected by Holy Spirit, by the true and solid and reliable beingness of God. And tonight, you can be set free as you wander outside of your body, out through the universe, out over the great oceans, higher even than the great birds can fly, above the clouds, above the earth. Looking down on all and looking out, and knowing that eternity, knowing that forever is right now. And that you are eternal right now. You are loved. You are blessed. You are safe. You are free. You are safe. You are safe. And your body is completely well. From the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers to the top of your head, every cell is in perfect harmony, balance, and alignment with the universe. Your body is completely well. Your love, your joy, you are peace. You are peace. Please say to yourself, I am peace. I'm going to be still now and allow you to stay in this sweet, sweet place for a little while. When the music stops, very gently and at your own pace, come back to the group, but when you do, please bring this self with you. Welcome back. Welcome back. So I'm wondering what you thought of this chapter. It was an interesting chapter to write, I can tell you that. A lot of different things going on with me. And I loved Anne's story and Anne's journey because Anne was a good friend for a while. And I also loved telling the dark and sinister tale. So I'd like to hear your thoughts about what you felt, what you learned, what you gained, what you enjoyed, what you hated about this chapter. So jump in.
We've got Richard up.
Yeah, I will jump in. Well, I love the chapter, and I love the triangle because all these issues about being and doing and having can be rather vague, and the triangle really clarifies them and makes those things manageable. Now, I have to share with you that I've been sort of wrestling with a part of it, I'm wrestling with the be. And I guess it comes down to that I'm not really that comfortable being. And it seemed like it should, what am I being? Where's that going? And I can be resting, and I have been, and I think that is great. But then there comes a time in that when, all right, I'm rested, and in this being phase, I can be curious about what's next, what's the next opportunity, and what's the next challenge. And Bob, I know you like the C words, and maybe curiosity is another one of those words. And I think in this corner of the triangle, I think that's important. But I think more important than that is being grateful. And I hearken back to a week ago when we were having our sharing, and one of the groups, it was Barbara, I think, but I'm not sure. Barbara, this speaker, the sharer, shared very clearly the value that she placed on gratitude, and I can see that, and that's really important. That having the gratitude, being grateful for moving on, and I think as important that like, for example, that my mission now is to get a new career opportunity, a new job, or something like that. I can be grateful for having an opportunity, but I think also I am grateful for the job that I have now. That maybe I've outgrown that. Maybe something has happened, but I can be grateful for that, because that gives me the impetus to move forward. And to say I want a job, it's I can be grateful for the job that I have now that's going to launch me forward. Or, I realize that times are tough, and maybe I don't have a job, but I can still be grateful for the life experiences I've had, for the education I've had, for the talents that I've had, that makes me a prime candidate for this next move. So I hope I got the name right. I just want to ditto the comments of Barbara about how important gratitude is, and that being, I don't know if I can just be, but I can be grateful. So I thank you for that, and I love the chapter.
Thank you, Rick. It's interesting for me to be talking to you, because I feel like I'm preaching to Buddha, but you ask a question, so I want to answer it, and that's about your beingness, and that you've been a well-known brain scientist and lecturer, and you've been doing that for years. And when I say doing that for years, I mean doing that for years. Maybe not so much being that for years, but doing that for years. And
I'm a doer.
And I remember you and I standing on an old rickety wooden dock on a lake in the middle of nowhere as you reeled in about a 5-pound trout. And at that moment that you were reeling in that trout, that you were being.
Uh-huh.
That was your being. And when you and I drifted around looking at the lake and talking our stuff, we were just being. And that's Rick, being. And when you're listening to that special music that I know you love, you're not thinking about what am I going to do next, where am I going to go, or what is my next career, where you're just being. And when we talk about that corner of the triangle, and thank you for asking that, Rick, because everyone on board tonight needs to hear that, is that your beingness has absolutely nothing to do with your brain, with your intellect, with your mind. It has all to do with the sense of you, of your heart, which is the nucleus of your spiritual being. And you, Rick, know better than anyone in this class tonight that the heart has 40,000 neurons and communicates with the brain more than the brain communicates with the heart. And the heart doesn't remember anything. The heart doesn't have a subconscious mind. The heart's just at the moment of now. And it can be filled with constant appreciation and gratitude. But it's the sense of being in the right now. And I always think, when I'm talking about this, of great pieces of music, Swan Lake, and of the swan being played on cello, or the meditation from Thais being played on a violin, or even the wonderful cut of I Love That Old Time Rock and Roll. That something happens inside that has nothing to do with our brain. And that's being. So we need to find more and more and more opportunities to be, because when that be gets fleshed out and whole, then from that comes an impetus to do. I get because, and you said the right word, curiosity. It might be the most powerful word in the universe. I'm surprised that Einstein didn't say the seat of genius is curiosity. It is absolutely the seat of genius. But when you are being, when you're totally in your being, pretty soon that eggshell cracks a little bit, and out comes this little curiosity saying, where are we going? Where are we going? And then you begin to do. You begin to find a vision and a mission and a support team, and you're off in a whole brand new venture. Make sense?
Perfect sense, Bob. Thank you for that. That is so spot on. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
We have Joshua up next.
Joshua, my brother. Joshua, I can't wait till you and Rick Robertson can get to know each other intimately. You guys are birds of a feather.
I would love that. Thank you. Thank you. You know, in this chapter, what hit me the deepest was that horrifying story, the one that, you know, slowed the blood, turned your blood cold. The one about the lost ice cream tickets. Your wife, I believe.
Yes.
That's the one that that was very cute in the beginning, but it really touched me because it's such a simple example of something that can be so layered, which is when we try too hard to avoid something, we become the thing that costs us what we're trying to save or trying to avoid. Just how much there's the universal fear, but I just got this mental image of her hiding the tickets away from her brother, and this fear that he would come and get them. So like a lot of times what we do, hide things really, really well, and then they're gone. And it was us, they had nothing to do with it, and we lose it and it's out of our hands. And how many times that happens with physical things, but also spiritually and emotionally and in relationships. And it really stayed with me.
Josh, would that apply to opportunity? That I'm
Absolutely.
As Rick was saying, you know, you come from the being and you get a vision and you say, wow, I could and then you say, no, I'll hide that for now.
Absolutely.
Then after a while, you can't find it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you. It's a great chapter.
You have Judith up next.
Judith,
Unmuted.
you are unmuted.
Thank you. So I really enjoyed the chapter. There was lots of drama. And what I think held me was Ben in the water. So I was rocking and rolling with Ben and wondering what's going to happen to him. And the idea that the fish was sort of the secret to get him out, and that the automatic pilot of the brain, or the computer of the brain, helped him follow that instinct or that message. And I think for me, when I allow myself to go with that, just let go, so to speak, and follow that, let my computer work without interference, it seems to help with synchronicity and guiding in a special way. So I'm wondering if that sounds in sync with that, or what do you think?
I think it's perfectly in sync. And I'll tell you that the story of Ben, of course, it's a true story, and I was there. And I was there at the point where Ben came out of the river, and he was never, I can say he was never afraid. He certainly was energized, greatly energized, because he knew he was heading for his death if he didn't make some right moves. But he was convinced he was going to be okay. And right at the last minute, when he could see that he wasn't going to be okay, that he was going to be swept over the falls, he went to the bottom and he saw that trout just laying there, very gently, hardly swimming at all against the current. And he realized there's no current down there. Because what happens, and I didn't know this until then, and I think very few people know it now, is that you know that when the river goes past a rock on the side of the river, it creates an eddy behind it. Well, when it goes across rocks on the bottom, it creates eddies. So there's always backwater with rocks right along the bottom. So when he went to the bottom, he was out of the current, and then he could pull himself across the bottom on the rocks and come up out of the water. But if he hadn't been trying to go back and really remember this, so I'm really honest and clear about it. If he hadn't been positive, if he hadn't been filled with faith, filled with confidence, he'd be dead. But because he was filled with faith and because he was filled with confidence, when he got to the crucial place, when it was all over, like if he went another 4 feet down that river, he'd have been lost. There would have been no getting him back. And he was moving fast, so 4 feet isn't very far. At that point, he just, because he was so confident and because he was so calm, he could see another way. If he'd have panicked at that point, he'd have been gone. So I think that your example is a good one. I think that it's like being confident and being able to stay confident. It's back to the mustard seed size of faith again, isn't it? What do you think, Judith?
Yes, it's believing in myself, let's say, and I suppose it's being with whatever's, if we want to say the unconscious or the conscious or whatever, allowing the freedom to be, just to be, and let go. But what I noticed about the story was he saw the fish beforehand, and then he went down and
Yes.
followed the rocks. So
Yes.
somehow a message got through to him.
Yes.
However that went, it's like the fish helped him out of the problem.
Because he was available for that new information.
Yeah, if he would have, as you said, panicked, he would have been gone, but he was available to observe everything. He was so aware and focused. And I think that's kind of what the whole chapter is about, the being aware and being focused and keeping on task with the whole world twirling around you, like the
Yes. Yes.
rapids.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Judith. She brought up a couple of points that I wanted to just touch on. One of them, I'm going to make sure I keep them both in mind. One of them is about being, and that's that, my dear friends, this triangle has only one purpose. Now, you could say the purpose is to grow in courage and clarity and confidence. You could say the purpose is to expand my identity. You could say, but there's really only one purpose, and that's to be who we truly are. And so as you go around the triangle, what you do is you come back to be, and every time you come back to be, you're more than you were when you left be the last time. And the only purpose of this triangle, from what is my vision, what is my mission, who's on my support team, what's my next step, dare to grow, change, dare to grow, take a risk, I'm expanding my identity, I'm working my mission, I'm focused on my vision, I'm contributing, I'm winning, I accept my win, I choose joy, I go into self-love, I'm loved, I'm blessed, I'm safe, I'm free, and then I pop back into be, and I'm more than I was when I was there before. And that's the only purpose of this triangle, is for spiritual growth. Now, it just happens that spiritual growth and temporal growth coincide. Because the more I grow spiritually, the more I'm able to function in this world successfully. So that triangle has two purposes. One is I get what I want, physically what I want. I want a new boat or whatever. I get what I want. But the most important part of that is in the getting of the boat, in the getting of what I want, I become who I came here to be. I expand into myself. You know, hermit crabs are funny little guys. They usually are in these little cone-shaped shells or sometimes little snail-shaped shells, and they stick their little heads out and then crawl around on the sand. Anything comes up and they go back in the shell, but they grow and they get too big for their shell, and at that point they have to get out of their shell and go find another shell, and at that point they're vulnerable while they're hunting for a new shell. See what I mean? So that's called risk. That's the risk side of the triangle. I'm expanding my identity. I'm expanding the shell. I'm getting into a new home, a new identity, a new me. And you've got to use that triangle. There isn't anything else. There isn't anything else. There's the triangle. There isn't anything else. The triangle is life. I want to read something to you. And I want you to see if you can tell me this: beingness, doingness, and havingness are like a triangle where each side supports the others. They're not in conflict with each other. They all exist simultaneously. Often people try to live their lives backwards. They try to have more money or more things so they can do more, or so that they can be more or be happier. The way it actually works is in the reverse. You must first be who you really want to be, who you are, and then do what you need to do in order to have what you want. You know who said that? Shakti Gawain. I've come really close to knowing Shakti. We've spoken on some same programs, but I've never actually met her. But I just read that the other day and I thought, oh my gosh, it's like I could have written that. Beingness, doingness, and havingness are like a triangle, she says, where each side supports the others. They're not in conflict with each other. They exist simultaneously. Often people try to live their lives backwards. They try to have more money or more things so they can do more, so that they can be happier. The way it actually works is in the reverse. You must first be who you really are, then you can do what you need to do in order to have what you want. But the important point here that I want you to come away with tonight is that the cherry on the top of the cake, the Oscar at the end of the year, is being. It's the be. You've heard me say before that this triangle is useless if you don't win. So don't have a vision that's so big you can't accomplish it. Never take a bite bigger than you can chew and swallow. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't jump in the water with your Boy Scout knife to fight a crocodile. Don't do it. Take bites that challenge you, but ones that you feel, by golly, I may be able to accomplish this. And get that vision, get that mission, get that support team, get ready to take your next step, and then dare to grow, change, and expand your identity to encompass that new level. And then to prove that you've expanded it to encompass that new level, take the risk, work your mission, follow your vision, and accomplish that, and come back into win. And when you come into win, you say, yes, I did that. Yes, yes, yes. I won. Dad, gummit, I won. That's so great. Yes, yes. I feel great. I'm loved. I'm blessed. I'm safe. I'm free. Yes, I'm a new me. I'm on a new level. Unless you got some old Christian garbage banking around in your mind that says you're not worthy of feeling good about yourself. And if you have that, then you got to unload it. You got to be like one of these dump trucks. You got to pick the bed up and open the tailgate and just drop it and drive on. Because you are worthy of everything you can dream of. You're worthy of being loved, of being blessed, of being safe, of being free, of having your dreams come true, of having the relationships you want, of having the health that you want, of having the wealth that you want. You're worthy of that. You didn't come here by accident. And the things that you desire, the things that you're reaching for, the things that you want, those are not accidental. Those were put inside of you when you were born. That's part of the basic operating system that was plugged into you. And when you came into this existence, it says, dun, 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 must go do this now, must go do this now, because that's how you're built. But if you start saying, this is what I want to do, but I can't do that I'm not the big enough being. I'm too, I can't, I couldn't, no, I couldn't do that. Then you're done. You're done. The game's over. I can tell you something, because I grew up in strict Christian teaching and went into the seminary studying to be a priest, and it was the Franciscans who really honor humility. And I can tell you, the kind of humility that is being taught by most churches is a sort of arrogance. It's a sort of arrogance. To be truly humble means to be truly honest. I just been watching the Olympics. These kids doing the half pipe, going 15, 20 feet in the air, spinning around, doing flip-flops in the air, touching their skis and coming down and skiing away. What do you think? You think they could make that unless they had absolute total confidence in themselves? Think they could make that? You think that the Canadian women's soccer team playing against the Americans tonight have a chance in the world of winning? If even one person on that team says, I don't really know that I'm up to this, no, they've got to know that's where they are. They've got to know that's who they are, because that's why they came on the planet. They came on the planet to win. They came on the planet to be all they could be. And so did you. So get rid of all that false humility, which is just another form of arrogance. And finally, I want to say before I send you off to your breakout rooms this. Write your vision down. Write it down every day. How hard is that going to be? How long does that take? Now, you might find that when you write it down today, you word it a little different than you did yesterday. Well, that's okay, because it's getting straightened out. It's still the same vision. It's just getting clearer. Maybe tomorrow it'll be even a little clearer. And you write it down. Listen, 85% of the people who write down their visions are successful. Those who don't are 15% successful. Take a choice. You want a 15% chance or an 85% chance? Write your vision down. How hard is that? How much time is that going to take? Write it down. Write it down and put it up on the mirror. And if your spouse comes in and says, "What's this?" You say, "It's my vision." Don't give me any crap. Don't you? Now I'm going to send you off to your breakout rooms. So, Janet, you have the breakout question there?
Yeah, I'm just going to there we go.
When you see yourself as worthy, you are loved, blessed, safe, and free. Let me say that again. When you see yourself as worthy, you are loved, blessed, safe, and free. Tell us about how each of these four are present in your life right now. Tell us about how each of these four are present in your life right now. Welcome back. Welcome back. I guess everybody's here. So I hope that in your breakout room, you got to really see what I was talking about, is that being, doing, and having are all pathways to the bottom line. But if you come down to the have part and you're not willing to accept yourself as a winner, if you come down to that corner and you don't get that you won, and if you didn't get that you won, one of two things is probably going on. You took too big of a bite and you couldn't possibly have won. You're going to try to swim the Atlantic Ocean and you just didn't quite make it. Or that you made it, but you didn't feel worthy of the win, so you didn't accept the win. But if you don't accept the win, then the triangle doesn't work for you. And in order for you to accept the win, you have to set yourself up to win. And I'm not saying make it a piece of cake, but I'm saying that as life goes on, you'll find yourself taking bigger and bigger risks because you know you can accept the win, because you know you can overcome all of the difficulties. When you go up that triangle from B, up that side, what's my vision? What's my mission? Who's on my support team? What's my next step? Up that side, that's all mental stuff, isn't it? That's all clarity. It's all clarity. Going down that other side of the triangle, that's courage. That's when it gets tough. People call me on the phone from a foreign country and they say, I'm trying to work the triangle, but man, I'm telling you, this is really hard. And I'm saying, yeah, you're on the right side of the triangle, right? Nobody said that was going to be easy. I'm expanding my self-identity. Change is the hardest thing that we can do. I'm expanding my self-identity. I'm working my mission. I'm focused on my vision. I'm allowing myself to grow. And in the process of doing that, there's changes that are happening in my life, aren't there? Changes happening in my life. I'm growing. That means a lot of the stuff that was so for me before isn't so anymore. A lot of the stuff that was true before isn't true anymore. A lot of the friends that I have aren't my friends anymore. A lot of the people I used to hang out with at the bar, shoot pool and drink beer, I don't hang out there anymore. And so now they don't talk to me. When you go down that right side of the triangle, things change, and it's not always easy. But the blessing is the ice cream cone that you get is when you get to the lower right hand corner, and you're right there at that place in the junction between courage and confidence, and that's have. That's win. I won. I set out to do something and I did it. And I'm a bigger person. And now I know that I am loved and I'm blessed and I'm safe and I'm free and I'm free. And look across the bottom of that triangle. Confidence. I'm loved, I'm blessed, I'm safe, I'm free. That's how we build self-confidence. That's what self-confidence is. It's knowing that you're loved and you're blessed and you're safe and you're free. Because if you know that you're loved and you're blessed and you're safe and you're free, then you're home. While you guys were in your breakout rooms, we were chatting with Matthew, who's Randy's son, and Matthew just got back from several months of he and his girlfriend of going all over Australia, just kind of, I don't know, hitchhiking and backpacking and whatever they were doing, but going all over Australia. And there's all kinds of ways that you can get hurt or killed or lost or whatever in Australia. And Janet said, did you ever feel at any time, Matthew, that you weren't being loved and blessed and safe and free? And he looked a little bit bewildered and he said, no, the only problem I had was with my bank card. He never felt that. Of course, he grew up in the Purcell family. But we all that's the young people. We need the young people to get that, don't we? We need the young people to get that because they're going to become the leaders of the world. We don't want a world anymore where everybody's operating out of fear. All the news stations, they're selling fear. All the advertisers are selling fear. Buy this car, it's the safest car on the road. If you really love your family, buy these tires. It's all baloney. It's all fear. How about love? How about just loving everybody? I know that sounds crazy, but imagine, says John Lennon. Just imagine. And that's what we're doing here. We're imagining. So I want to remind you of something I don't want you to forget. Those who write their visions are 85% successful. Those who don't are 15% successful. That's not a good gamble. That's not a good gamble. Write it down tonight, when we're finished. Write down your vision. You say, well, I'm not really sure what it is. I don't care if you're sure what it is. Write it down anyway. Yeah, but I wouldn't just write something down. What do you want? What do you want? Write it down. And then tomorrow, maybe you'll say, well, it's a little different now. And then you keep it juggling it down until finally it's concrete. This is what I want. I want a 50-foot Grand Banks and enough money to keep it in the slip, and I want to have it completely computer set up so that I can go aboard and sit and write my books and drink tea and look at the waves and this. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. Get a vision. Write it down and write it down and write it down and write it down and write it down. And you'll succeed. And if you use the triangle, you'll get your wish. You will. You'll get your wish. I'm going to take very briefly, got just a couple of minutes. I just want to very briefly tell you the story of someone down in Los Angeles. He was a plumber. He was about 30 years old. And he was at this point in the seminar. And I said, Bart, do you have a vision? Excuse me. He said, yeah. I said, I do. He said, I know what I want. Oh, he said, what I want is to live in the Pacific Northwest. I've always wanted to live in the Pacific Northwest. And I want to have my own boat. I want to go fishing whenever I want. And I want to have a farm. And I want to have a beautiful woman that loves me. Excuse me. So I said, so Bart, when do you want that? And he said, what do you think? When do you think I could get it? And I said, well, you can set a 6-month goal, a 1-year goal, 2-year goal, 3-year goal, 5. He said, I want this in 5 years. He said, it'll probably take me 5 years. And I said, okay, write it down every day. Write it down. Get it written down every day, and work the triangle. Work the triangle, little vision at a time, working up to this vision. He was living on a farm in Bellingham that he owned completely, had a beautiful boat, a beautiful, wonderful woman who's still my sister. Bart's gone now. And he was fishing all the time, and they had a farm. 6 months later, not 5 years, 6 months later. We're talking about miracles here, folks. We're talking about working miracles. Your life is a miracle, and you're a miracle, and it's time to work a miracle. And you can do that. So this is the time to do it.